Welcome to the 2018 Webcast for Certified Volunteer Leaders in the Kentucky 4-H Dog Program. This webcast will discuss upcoming events and updates, recruitment of new members and retention of current members, and an optional assignment that certified leaders can complete to get additional continuing education hours. Upcoming events and updates for the current program year, and a reminder that our 4-H program year is September 1st through August 31st. The dog logo contest submissions are due by February 1st. We do have a flyer that's available that outlines the guidelines for that contest. The flyer is available on our website, and I will also post the flyer on our Facebook group page. The Dog Bowl and Skill-a-thon event will take place on March 2nd at the Bullitt County Extension Office in Shepherdsville. We will have a food and supply drive like we have had in previous years. We will be collecting items for the nonprofit organization My Dog Eats First. This organization serves underserved and homeless individuals and their pets in the greater Louisville area. And 4-H members that bring in 5 or more items for the food and supply drive will be entered into a drawing. We will be giving away 1 free registration to the Camp Canine program. And a flyer will be made available to your clubs. We are still finalizing the details on this current flyer, and as soon as that is finished, I'll post this on the website as well as the Facebook group page. Camp Canine will take place in May 17th through the 19th at Feltner 4-H Camp in London. This year, we will be having the dog judging competition at Camp Canine and not at the State 4-H Dog Show. In addition to the competition, we'll have an educational session on dog judging, so hopefully our 4-H members will feel more confident when going into that competition. And we hope that this will increase participation in our dog judging events. The State 4-H Dog Show, we have several changes. The next few slides discuss those changes. If you have any questions at all, please feel free to contact me and I'll be happy to talk to you more about these changes. We are moving from a 2-day show to a 1-day show. So traditionally, the State 4-H Dog Show has been held on a Saturday and Sunday. This year, we're moving to a 1-day show, so the event will be held on Sunday, August 11th, same location, the Kentucky Expo Center, Broadbent Arena, there in Louisville. Our obedience classes 502 through 507, in the past, there has been a group sits and downs exercise with these classes. This year, there will be an individual sits and downs exercise, and this exercise will take place as part of the individual's class. Dog judging, again, will be offered at Camp Canine, not at the 2019 show. Drill Team Agility 1, which is our on-lead agility class, and Gambler's Choice will not be offered at the 2019 show. However, Agility 1, those that are not comfortable in competing in Agility 2, the off-lead class, there will be an opportunity for youth who are not competing in Agility 2 to practice on the course with their dog on lead, just so they can practice and get a feel for the course for future years. This year, all certified dog club leaders will be permitted on the arena floor. We just ask that all certified leaders register and check in at the registration area and receive a vest so that when they're on the arena floor, we'll know that they are a certified leader. Crating will be allowed in Broadbent Arena. So, crating will be allowed in the outer loop of Broadbent Arena. We will have signs posted identifying designated areas where you can crate your animals. Also, an informational handout will be available prior to the show to help explain the award ceremony and the placing system. So hopefully we will reduce any confusion. I know at the past show there was some confusion at the ceremony. A few reminders. If your club is planning a local 4-H dog show, please send me that information. You can send it to my email address noted on the slide, especially if your show is open to other counties and other clubs. We would love to post that information on our website and on our Facebook page so that other clubs can go ahead and save the date, and hopefully that will increase participation in your show, and we won't have various counties planning shows at the same time. Also, if your district is planning a 4-H dog show, please send me that information as well. And I assume if you are watching this webcast, you're a certified leader. So just a friendly reminder, certified leaders must receive 2 hours of continuing education by August 31st each year. So there are several opportunities. This webinar is one opportunity. There's also an optional assignment, which I will discuss at the end of the slide presentation. Another opportunity is Camp Canine. So you can attend some of the camp educational sessions, maybe on a topic that's new to you that you'd like to learn more about so you can implement in your club. That can count towards your continuing education. Also at Camp Canine, we have a volunteer meeting that generally lasts 1 hour, and so we will also that will also count towards continuing education. Also, local workshops, local sessions such as those put on by your county 4-H agent, maybe related to just general 4-H information, club management, that can definitely count towards continuing education. If you are part of a breed association or other type of organization and you attend a workshop or a conference, that can count as well. If you have any questions about continuing education, please feel free to reach out and contact me. Now we're going to move on to recruitment and retention. I did want to mention before we dive into this topic, at our volunteer meeting at Camp Canine this past May, we had a brainstorming session, and we talked about what clubs were doing for their educational component. We talked about community service project ideas, fundraising ideas. So finally, after several months, I have compiled my notes at that session. And so I've now made that into one document, and I will share that document with each of you. So I will send that to your county 4-H agent. If I have your email address, which I have many of your email addresses, I will forward that to you via email. However, if you're watching this webcast and you don't have the document and you would like it, please just shoot me an email and I'll be happy to share that with you. And I'd really like this document to be a living document. So I'd like to continue to add to the document. So if you are looking at the document and you have a new idea, or you have an idea that we discussed at the volunteer meeting that I just missed, please feel free to send me those ideas and I will continue to add to that. I'd really like for this to be a document that can be used by both new and seasoned leaders, just to kind of get some fresh ideas and fresh thoughts about what you can do in your county's club. So at that meeting, at Camp Canine, as well as the meeting that we had at the State 4-H Dog Show, 2 topics that came up were recruitment of new members and retention of current members. And so the next few slides are going to kind of touch on these 2 topics. And I'll be mentioning several journal articles related to these topics. And for each of the articles that I mentioned, that information will be provided on the slide. So that way, if you want, you can pause the webcast. You can make note of that journal article if that's something that you would like to go back and read for yourself. So the first journal article, this article was written by Drs. Newby and Sally, both from Oklahoma State University. And this article summarized a lot of the literature and information out there which talks about the issue of retention of our 4-H members. And so one big question that was asked in that article, and I feel like this question is also asked by many of us, is why do youth drop out of 4-H? And so in this article, these are some of the points that were highlighted as to why youth were dropping out of 4-H. So discontentment with 4-H clubs. Youth felt that meetings were boring, they weren't getting enough help with their projects, they weren't meeting often enough. Just a general lack of understanding of 4-H, the expectations of 4-H, and the different activities and events and time commitment. A feeling of not being welcomed. And then specifically for teens were interested in different topics than the ones being taught, and teens felt that 4-H was focused for younger members. So with that being said, how can we retain members? And these are several of the key points that were made. We can make sure that we are listening to our members. So are their needs being met? Is the club enticing to our youth? Involve the entire family. Creating programs that are welcoming so our youth have a sense of belonging and feel a sense of inclusiveness. And providing a strong support for youth and families, especially for those first and second year members. So the next few slides, I'm going to take each of the bullet points, kind of break those down even further. So listening to our youth, and I know that many of you, all of you, you do this, you listen to youth, but just want to highlight some different ways that we can really involve our members to make sure that they have input in what our clubs are doing. So this information at the bottom of the screen where it says involve members is from the Kentucky Leader Handbook, and later in the presentation I will have the web address for this document. It is online, so you can view it online, you can download it, print it off, but it has some great information, general information about 4-H. And also, I did mean to mention the previous article by Drs. Newby and Sally. This was for just general 4-H. It's not specific to dog clubs or animal science. This is just, just general 4-H. So, involving our members, making sure that we are including them when we are setting our group goals, when we're planning our programs, and even when we're carrying out our programs. So we really need to allow them to take on responsibilities. So again, that they are learning about those life skills that are so important that will help them to become caring and responsible citizens in their adulthood. So this is just one resource. It's a planning calendar that 4-H clubs can use when they're planning out their year. And so you'll see this one has September through February, and then there's a backside with March through August. Now this may or may not be appropriate for your club. I know that several of our dog clubs meet in the fall, they take a break in the winter months, and then meet again in the spring. I also know that some of our clubs may meet twice a month, or during certain periods of the year may meet weekly. But this is kind of just a jumping off point. So this is something that you could sit down with your club and you could brainstorm ideas about what they would like to learn about for the educational portion of the club meeting. You can brainstorm ideas about community service projects and fundraising projects. So I feel this would be a great way to really engage your club members. Involving the entire family. So in the Kentucky Leader Handbook, there's an entire section on parent involvement, pages 64 through 86. And in that section, one point that was made was active parents mean active members. So it's really important that we get parents on board and make sure that they understand what's taking place in our clubs. This is one of the pieces in that parent involvement section in the Kentucky Leader Handbook. It has the responsibilities of a 4-H parent, and then this is also within that Kentucky Leader Handbook, the do's and don'ts of being a 4-H parent. So for example, do, as a parent, take the time to learn about 4-H, what it stands for, how it operates. Do advise your child in selecting their project. Then don't do your child's project for them. Don't discourage your child's enthusiasm by providing too much corrective influence or criticism. I feel that these documents, both the parent responsibility and this do and don'ts of being a 4-H parent, these would be great to make copies of and to give to each family, just so that these parents may not have any prior experience with 4-H. This will just help them in knowing what our expectations are of them as parents of 4-H club members. Also in the Kentucky Leader Handbook, in the parent section, there are 2 checklist surveys. So one is a parent's talents, skills, and interest checklist. So you can give this to parents. This is particularly for parents that may be interested in volunteering. So for example, it says, I can provide refreshments for meetings. So this might be a great way to really get some parents more engaged and involved. Then there's a 4-H parent survey. Again, kind of a checklist of what they can be doing at home, as well as during the club and even in the county to help with your club. Also, an article. This article is highlighted at the bottom of the screen, an in-depth look at 4-H enrollment and retention. This article mentioned a family mentoring system, and I thought this was a great idea. This system, it was from another state's 4-H program. Basically, they were pairing first-year families with more seasoned families. So just this year, this is my son's first year in the marching band, so I've kind of experienced this. It's kind of fresh. As a first-year parent of a new marching band member, we have really waded through different events, not knowing, exactly what to expect. So I feel this would be absolutely great to pair a first-year member in their family with a more seasoned member in their family, just so they have a built-in kind of go-to person where they can ask questions. They can kind of get the insider's look about what to expect. So I think this would be a great thing to implement. And if you are implementing this or you plan to, please let me know. I'd love to hear if it is successful. Our next bullet point, creating programs that are welcoming, making sure we're promoting a sense of belonging and inclusiveness. So this section where it talks about member input, member involvement, this is from an article titled Quality 4-H Youth Development Belonging from the Journal of Extension. So in this article, it talks about the importance of member input again, which we've already touched on. But it states, by asking youth for their opinions and then listening and then acting on their input, this is allowing our youth to take ownership in 4-H. So again, asking, listening, and acting. And then making sure that our members are involved. So providing them with responsibilities in the club. It can be as simple as asking someone to lead the pledge or pass out refreshments, or taking more responsibilities such as holding an office or chairing a committee. And then also recognizing our members and our club for their accomplishments. So it can be as simple as, thank you, you did a really nice job at leading the American Pledge, to a more formal recognition such as at the end of the year having an award ceremony recognizing members for their accomplishments. I also wanted to point out on the right side of the screen, this is from Michigan 4-H, and this is just an example of how a 4-H club meeting could be split. So you have fun for about 15 to 20 minutes, business 15 to 20 minutes, and learning 40 to 60 minutes. And I know that each program is unique, each club is different, so please don't get caught up in those times. But the main thing I wanted to point out when thinking about making sure that our kiddos are feeling like they belong and they're part of the club, you really want to allow time for them to build relationships with one another. So having those fun game type activities, kind of get to know you, or icebreaker activities where they can get to know one another, and again, making sure everyone feels welcome. Also, a couple of other additional ideas. If you have a newsletter for your club, in that newsletter you might have a section where you have a meet a member article, so really detailing information about that member so everyone can get to know each other. Also, Carter County has a beginner club member fact sheet for their livestock club, and I felt like this was a great idea. And I hope to take Carter County's beginner livestock club fact sheet and adapt that and make it available for our dog club members. So, again, as a beginner, knowing what to expect, kind of detailing what you need as a new club member, I think would be very useful and helpful. So I hope to have that available soon. Also, I wanted to note, if you do a newsletter or if you're thinking about doing one, this would be a great project for a team member. They could really, this could be their project and they could provide information in the newsletter. I feel that would be really great and fun for them. Our team members. So in the Kentucky Leader Handbook, there is a section on team members, pages 91 through 94. And in here, it outlines that teens, they want to share what they know, they want to learn new skills, they want to assume new responsibilities. So with that being said, teens can organize a business club meeting. They can teach members specific skills. They can lead recreational activities. They can help organize portions of a county event, and they can design and implement community service projects. So again, just providing opportunities for our teens to continue to grow, but also share what they've learned in the club. This is from the 4-H After School curriculum, and this is from Chapter 5 of that curriculum. And if you're interested in this curriculum, it is online. Be happy to share that web address with you. Just shoot me an email. But this particular document, it highlights the physical, social, emotional, and intellectual characteristics of a high school youth. And then it has implementation, I can't say that word, but it has ideas for programming in relation to those characteristics. So just a few key points. Let teens plan their own programs. Let teens assume responsibility. Give them real life problems to figure out. So if you want, you can pause the webcast here. You can take a look at this. If you have teens in your program currently or you're hoping to recruit teens, this is great information just to kind of keep in mind as you're working with your teen club members. Providing a strong support system for both the youth and their families, especially for those first and second year members. So we've already discussed the family mentoring system, pairing a first year family with a more seasoned family. I also feel that communication is so important. So if you have a club newsletter, that's a great way to keep everyone informed about what you're doing, what your expectations are, what the different upcoming events are. I know many of you already have social media group pages, so that's a great way to get information out there. There are apps available such as the Remind app. This app allows you to send messages out to groups about, changes to event times, or just any information you like. Just another way to get information out there. Also, I know many of you may already do this, but having an informational meeting, maybe at the beginning of the program year or before a large event, just to make sure that the parents are also up to speed on what's taking place. Because as a parent, I know that many times my kiddos, I will ask them, so, exactly what's going on with this event? What do I need to do to help you? And a lot of times I get, a one-word answer. So again, just making sure that you are allowing or providing communication to the parents and the families. Also, in regards to recruitment of new members, Oklahoma, this was mentioned in the article by Drs. Newby and Sally. They mentioned Oklahoma had a program called Each One Reach One, where each enrolled 4-H member would recruit and mentor a new member for 1 year. So that might be one way to increase membership in your club. Additional ideas: bring a friend recruitment drive. Also, don't forget about those youth that don't have a dog. I know many of your clubs are very open to members that don't have a dog, or maybe they don't feel comfortable bringing their dog to the club meeting, so you might consider opportunities to engage those members. Also, you might partner with a local shelter or a local veterinarian clinic and just ask if you can have flyers available for youth that are 4-H age who come in, maybe adopt a new animal, or they're going to the vet clinic for basic care. Having a flyer there that talks about the dog club and what you do in the dog club, that might be a way to reach new audiences. Alright, so now we're going to just move right along. If you have additional ideas about retention or recruitment, again, that's something that I could add to that document where we have listed out all the ideas that were discussed at our volunteer meeting at Camp Canine. That's another section that I can add to that document. And again, I think that would be very helpful to all of our club members. So feel free to shoot me those ideas in an email as well. So now I'm going to discuss the assignment. Again, this is optional. This is just another opportunity for you to get the continuing education hours. So the assignment, the Kentucky Leader Handbook, and this is the handbook. It's available online. I have the web address here, so you can actually pause the webcast and you can write down that URL, and you can simply click on this URL. You can download the handbook. You can even print it out. But here are the different topics in that leader handbook, or many of the different topics. Maybe not all of them, but everything from starting a club to planning a yearly calendar, ways to reach youth, club fundraising, setting youth goals, parent involvement, so lots of information. So the assignment would be to select a section from the handbook, read that section, and then just write a brief summary on how you plan to use that information in your dog club. And then you can submit that summary with your recertification form. And again, that recertification form is available on our website. But if you have any issues, you can't find that, feel free to contact me. Again, there's the web address, and I wanted to give you an example. So the example is, let's say my club is having issues with absentee parents that are not involved, and one maybe parent that is a bit overbearing. So I decide to read this section in the handbook on parent involvement. And so after reading that section, this is my summary report that I will submit with my recertification form. So my summary report is, I plan to host a parent meeting, and at the meeting I'm going to provide each parent with these documents: the 4-H Parent Responsibilities Handout, the Do's and Don'ts of Being a 4-H Parent, the Parent Survey, and the Parent Talent, Skills, and Interest Checklist. Each of these documents are available in the Kentucky Leader Handbook. I'm simply going to make copies of those and have those available for each parent attending that meeting. And then I will also have these documents available for club members whose parents are not in attendance. So I also plan to start a Facebook group page for parents to keep everyone up to date on the different events and activities taking place with our club. One additional thing that I could do that's not mentioned here is I could download the Remind app, and I could send reminders out on the Remind app. For the overbearing parent, I plan to look at his or her parent talent, skills, and interest checklists. Hopefully that parent has identified some different ways that they would like to be more involved, and I plan to assign him or her a job. And hopefully by assigning them a job, they will focus on the job, and hopefully that will help with that issue. So this is what I would submit with my recertification form. So after you do this, if you choose to do this, if you still have questions, especially if you have an issue related to, whatever the topic, whether it be absentee parent or, whatever the topic may be, feel free to contact me. I'd be happy to talk with you about that. And as always, your first point of contact is your 4-H agent. Please contact your agent if you're having an issue. Keep them up to date about what's happening in your club. So with that being said, this again is my contact information, my email address, our website. Also, if you're on Facebook and you haven't joined our group page, just search the KY4H Dog Program, and hopefully you'll find us fairly easily. If not, shoot me an email. I'll be happy to send you that link to that Facebook page. I really appreciate all that you all do. Obviously, without each of you, we could not have the Kentucky 4-H Dog Program. Each of you are so instrumental in making the program succeed and helping each of our youth members. So thank you, and always feel free to contact me if you have questions.